Hello students. Today I am going to teach you about pain. As you all know, whenever any surgery is planned or much so any surgery is planned, the patients are afraid because of pain. Most close the door. Pain is of very much concern. They are concerned about post-operative pain very much. किसी का भी ऑपरेशन होना होगा तो वो डरते हैं ऑपरेशन से। क्यों डरते हैं? क्योंकि उनको पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पीरियड में पेन होगा, उसी से घबराते हैं वो लोग, है ना। तो उसी के बारे में आज अपन बात करेंगे। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड चलिए। So it is very common, as you all know, whenever there is an incision, you will experience pain also. And most of the pain, all patient experience pain after surgery, procedure or any injury. 86% experience pain post surgery, and 75% have extreme pain in the immediate post surgical period. Immediate post surgical period means after 3 days to up to 10 days. 48 hours everybody will have pain because of incision. After that they don't feel much pain, but 75% of patients they have extreme pain in this duration also, 3rd to 10th day. And 74% patients still has pain on discharge also. Whenever they are discharged from hospital, still they have pain. And studies had confirmed that after orthopedic surgeries, general surgeries, and cardiac surgeries, many patients get relief of pain by about 6th day. But 37% of patients they have pain beyond discharge. So for the pain relief, we have different modalities. This is basically how to manage pain so that patient should not have multiple problems related to it. Pain is of two types, somatic pain and neuropathic pain. Somatic pain is basically due to incisional pain or operative pain, and it is mostly acute in nature. Acute pain means which lasts up to, you can say, 5 or 6 days. But if it lasts to up to from 10 days to up to 2 months, it will be labeled as chronic pain. And neuropathic pain, it is mostly related to nervous system due to nerve compression or any degenerative nervous disorders. So this is a neuropathic pain. These are mostly chronic in nature. And for pain relief, we have multiple procedures by which we can relieve pain of the patient. First is a multimodal therapy. We give multiple drug combinations for pain relief. Normally, if you have simple headache, you can take paracetamol and get pain relief. But for surgical pains, you have to take one or more than one medicine, sometimes 2 or 3 medications. So their mode of action is different. So they will act synergistically and on different mechanism is also different. So the pain relief is better. But if you take opioids, there are certain disadvantages also of these medications. Like you give opioids, then you will have side effects of constipation, pruritus, respiratory depression, and all that. And with many drugs, there are drug interactions also. You have to, whenever you give any drug to patient, you should think about the drug interactions also. This is the problem while giving any analgesic medication. And psychological issues are also there. Anxiety and depression is also always associated with pain. So you have to take care of that also. And you should also, it is very important that you should take history of opioid use in pre-operative period. Pre-operatively, you should ask whether he is on pain medication for a long time. In these patients, they will also have aggravated pain in post-operative period, and you will think it is because of surgery, but maybe it is because of, like in abdominal surgery. You have done some operation on abdomen, and patient have chronic pain, and you will think it is because of your operation, but it may be due to some spine, back pain, some chronic backache, some nerve compression. no root compression. Because of that also pain should. So you should very clearly see in the pre-operative period the patient should not be on any analgesic medication and for what he is taking medication. I told you in my pre-anesthetic checkup lecture that is why pre-anesthetic medication assessment is very important. You should know everything about the patient before giving him anesthesia or planning any surgery. इससे कनेक्ट हो जाओगे क्या? तो इससे हो जाओ. So there should not be any pre-existing pain, and there is sometimes there is genetic part also. Some genetic pleomorphism it is called, due to which patient has. अब तो सैटरडे Hello, everybody is listening? Say yes or no. How will I know that you are connected or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll proceed. So, for assessment of pain, there are many, as you know, visual analog scale is there. According to which we have numbers from 1 to 10, we ask the patient how much pain you are feeling. If he says 5, that means it is the severity. And if score is less than 12, then probability of neuropathic pain is unlikely. And as this questionnaire, they will focus on he has pain, along with pain, he has pricking sensations or tingling sensations, color of the skin, it is mottled or pink or red, any hyperesthesia is there or not. Different type of questions as I asked, and according to that, we give the score and assess the type of pain he is feeling. The pain is associated with many factors. When patient is having pain, it's not only pain. It is associated with his quality of life. It is also reduced. Huh? He's in agony. He will be psychologically disturbed. He will become irritable. He will not have proper sleep at night. So many problems are associated with this. Huh? And when the pain is in the post-operative period, it will prolong his stay in the hospital and it will be an economic burden on him also. So why the topic today was the management of acute and chronic pain, post-operative pain. And why there is chronic pain when acute pain in post-operative period is not managed properly, it converts into chronic pain. So management of pain in post-operative period is very important to prevent this chronic pain syndromes. And for that, for betterment of patient, we should in pre-operative period, we should find out any risk factors for post-operative pain. Sometimes patient has osteoporosis, degenerative nerve disease, some disc like compression, disc prolapse. All these things will lead to pain in post-operative period also. So we should look for them in pre-operatively for better management of pain. Hello, हाँ सुरभि, हाँ good afternoon. हाँ अच्छा हाँ 10 तारीख तक अच्छा अच्छा हाँ हाँ वही ना हाँ अच्छा तो जब तक रिपोर्ट नहीं आती तब तक रहना पड़ेगा है ना। ठीक है टेस्ट तो दे ही दो, अच्छा है तुमको भी क्लियर हो जाएगा। हाँ मैं ना क्लास ले रही थी, मैं तुमको बाद में कॉल करती हूँ है। हाँ so one important patient this pain management by multimodal therapy is a very good approach for management of pain. In this, we give 2 or more drugs simultaneously for better results. Whenever possible, anesthesiologists should use multimodal pain management therapy. What are the advantages of this therapy? They are target on different pathways of pain. Synergism of multiple agents is there. They allows dose reduction when there is a synergistic effect. We reduce the dose of the patient, that is for betterment. Like opioids, they have sedative side effects. They are respiratory depression and sedation. So if we give them in low doses, it will be beneficial for the patient. And it also reduces the risk of adverse effects. We can plan multimodal therapy in cases of for pain relief, we give systemic analgesics and regional analgesics and anesthetics also. You must have attended the class of epidural anesthesia and spinal anesthesia. And in this epidural route, we put catheters, continuous drug infusion. Through these catheters, we can give anesthetic drugs also for surgical procedures. And in post-operative period, through same catheter, we can give analgesic drugs by infusions or intermittent doses or by continuous infusions. So they provide very good pain relief for the patient and they are very comfortable and their duration of action is very long. We can supplement drugs 12 hourly. That is very comfortable for staff and for patient also. And as far as systemic administration of drugs is concerned, we can give NSAIDs, COX-2 inhibitors, acetaminophen, and for pain relief. And opioids are always there. And in this regional techniques, there is better pain relief as I have already told you. And we can give through these, we can give NSAIDs, opioids, and other alpha-2 agonist also. I will tell you further. These are also very good adjuvants for pain relief. Alpha-2 agonists nowadays, they are becoming very common. And like IV injections, we can give intramuscular injections also. With their always there is some limitations, like in intramuscular injections there is pain on injection or maybe some tissue damage. In IV it is better, but the peak effects comes very early, so if there is some side effect of the drug it will come very early. And if there is associated respiratory depression or sedation, so we should give these drugs very slow, by slow IV infusions or that, so otherwise they will have to have respiratory depression in very short time. Their SpO2 will fall. As you administer the drug, their SpO2 will fall within 5 minutes. So we should be very cautious while using these drugs. Patient control analgesia is very good thing. You must be knowing or not. I am not very sure about that. Patient controlled analgesia. PCA and it is given to the patient. And according to his need, he pushes the button of it. If he feels pain, he should push the button for one time and fixed amount of drug is administered to him and he will get pain relief. Two types of systems are there, PCA with background infusion, PCA without background infusion. In PCA with background infusion, you give analgesic infusion continuously and PCA also. That as patient will not have complete pain relief with that continuous infusion, he can take analgesic bolus through this pump. And in without background infusion, there is no background, no continuous infusion of analgesic is there, only PCA is there. Whenever he feels pain, he can push the button of the machine and get the bolus of analgesic. In this background infusions, chances of overdose are always there because in the mild pain also patient will push the button, so it will cause high doses of drugs will be administered and it will be not, it will cause adverse effect on patients. So patient should be very, you can say, educated for these PCAs and he should be sensible rather while using this. So it is not, that's why it's not very so common. Regional anesthetic techniques are there. And you can give some nerve blocks. Regional anesthetic techniques are there. For like knee pain, you give intra-articular injections of steroids and analgesics in the knee joint. We give infiltration also while giving, when closing the incision during the surgery, you infiltrate the local anesthetic on the subcutaneously in the skin. So it also provides very good analgesic relief according to the duration of the drug. Like if you infiltrate bupivacaine, it will its duration is action is almost 8 hours. So patient will not feel pain up to 8 hours and that is very good. But it is a single time thing. You can't infiltrate daily the drug. It is only done while of closing the wound of incisional wound of the patient during surgery. NSAIDs are there and gabapentin is one drug which is also, it is combined with analgesics for very good results because as you all know, pain is always associated with anxiety and all that. So gabapentin also relieves pain also and the anxiety component also. So we sometimes, most of the studies are there which prove that gabapentin given preoperatively, single dose of gabapentin given preoperatively causes very good pain relief in intraoperative and postoperative period. But its side effect is sedation, so it should be avoided in old age patients. Only young healthy adults can be given this drug. And as you all must have read in pain pathway, it is a dual ascending pathway. One is going to limbic cortex, another is going to sensory cortex. That means the pain is also associated with emotional feelings also. Like anxiety and depression, they are always associated with pain because in multimodal treatments, all the drugs have different site of action, like local anesthetics or infiltration of the wound will act locally on the nerve ending, which is supplying the tissue. ये तो फिंगर से ही करने से हो जाता है. देखो पुनः क्लिक करने से एक एक पड़ता था. ये ऐसे आएगा. And local anesthetic, through local anesthetic, we can block the peripheral nerve which is supplying to particular tissue. So this is also one approach. And this local anesthetic opioids and can be given in as they were given in spinal and epidural anesthesia. They are given in the this subarachnoid space and extradural space. And the opioids, they get iotone substantia nigra in midbrain and they cause analgesic effects. So there are various different sites of action of different analgesics, and we can combine them to get the better results. I have told you about analgesics. One drug is ketamine, which is an anesthetic. And as you all know, anesthesia is triad of analgesia, amnesia, and muscle relaxation. In this ketamine, there is less muscle relaxation. Amnesia is good, and analgesic, it is very good analgesic. So it is also combined sometime with anesthetic drugs for providing analgesia. But it's not so commonly used. In children, especially, we give ketamine, and so they are very comfortable in post-operative period also. So ketamine can be counted in analgesics, but it should be in hands of anesthetist. And the carbapentine, as I told you, it has also analgesic properties and very good for post-operative analgesia. And alpha-2 agonists, nowadays they are very much used. What are alpha-2 agonists? You can name some alpha-2 agonists. Anybody? Are you listening or not?
Yes,
no reply. You know some alpha-2 agonist. Can you name any one or two alpha-2 agonist? Clonidine. Clonidine is alpha-2 agonist. Nowadays we are using dexmedetomidine. It is alpha-2 agonist, and they are very good for analgesia, and they have multiple other properties also. Like, see, in post-operative period and intraoperative period, they are very beneficial. They provide sedation, anxiolysis, analgesia, post-operative shivering is relieved from that. Most of the cases, post-operative, there is shivering. So we give many agents, but with this dexmedetomidine, we can, if we give it in the intraoperative or preoperatively, post-operative shivering is very less. Decreased post-operative nausea, vomiting is here. Decreased agitation, stress response is decreased, and stress response due to tracheal intubation is also attenuated with these drugs. Anesthetic sparing effect, because they have an additional effect, so and dosage of anesthetic drug is also reduced with if we combine dexmedetomidine. So they are alpha-2 agonists. They are very good, and their adverse effects are hypotension and bradycardia. These have to look for. Even they are very good in hypertensive patient. We prefer them. So if they cause fall in BP, so that is beneficial in those cases. And bradycardia is there. It is manageable, but one thing is there, we can give them in infusion also, but not for more than 24 hours. They are not indicated for more than 24 hours. So they are even we combine them with local anesthetic while giving spinal and epidural anesthesia. We combine this bupivacaine with dexmedetomidine for prolonged post-operative pain relief. Bupivacaine will cause this anesthetic effect for surgery for 3 hours or maximum 4 hours. But when this alpha-2 agonist is added, it will long for 5-6 hours. So if surgery is prolonged, then also it is very good. And in post-operative period also it is very good for patient for pain relief. This is same thing I have told you. IV lignocaine is also given for pain relief, but it is not commonly used. These are all opioids, NSAIDs, acetaminophen, gabapentin. Their side effects and all are tabulated. Like NSAIDs are associated with GI bleeding, nephrotoxicity, nausea, vomiting. And opioids are famous for sedation, constipation. Pruritus is very common with opioids. Nausea, vomiting is also there. Acetaminophen associated with hepatotoxicity. So in multimodal analgesia, we can give different types of analgesics with different routes of administration also. IV we can give, intraspinally we can give, epidurally we can give, oral we can give. We can give one drug oral and other through IV route. This also we can do with NSAIDs and opioids. Opioids are mostly injectables. Tablets are not available freely as they comes under this act, Narcotic Act. So we normally in our setup, in our SIMS, we don't have license for narcotic drugs. So we don't have this fentanyl and morphine, but we use partial agonist antagonist of opioids. You must have learned in your pharmacology classes in classification of opioids, agonist, antagonist, butorphanol, nalbuphine, tramadol. These are commonly used in our setup. They are also very good and with their agonist, antagonist. So they have less side effects of opioids and very potent analgesics. Local anesthetics are also given for post-operative analgesia. We infiltrate the wound incision with anesthetic drugs. Peripheral nerve blocks can be given, and epidural, IV, peritoneal catheters. Just a minute. हेलो, हाँ बोलिए. नहीं अभी चल रहा है. आप लोग चले जाओ फिर भेज देना ड्राइवर को. अच्छा तो आधे घंटे से आ जाइएगा, मैं फ्री हो जाऊंगी. And now coming to chronic pain and acute pain. What is the difference? In acute pain, intensity decreases with time. In immediate post-operative period, patient has much pain. As days pass by, pain decreases, and after few days, patient is completely relieved from pain. But in chronic pains, patient has initially less pain, some tingling, then gradually it increases. And sometimes it is unbearable and we have to give analgesics, then it is also not relieved and we have to go for certain interventions also like nerve blocks and so many. Pain is totally a different modality. In pain clinics, we are using so much different techniques for relieving pain of the patient. Sometimes we give anesthetic drugs to block the sensation, nerve impulse, and sometimes we give lytic drugs. They completely damage the nerve that is conducting pain. Like in trigeminal neuralgia, we apply blocks, so they completely destroy the nerve which is conducting pain. These are all repetitions, so I'm skipping these slides. Okay.